And I think I was really interested in Elliot Brody's charge yesterday and guilty plea on being a foreign agent for what's his name from 1MDB. That's Elliot Brody has so many secrets. And he knows exactly where they go up to. Yes, cheers. Water
Just my cocktail arrived. It arrived.
Cheers, Elliot.
Sometimes that happens.
But that's a big thing. I think I didn't expect Elliot Brody to go down, and if he's going down with this guilty plea that seems somewhat manufactured. Not manufactured, negotiated, because he should be going down for a lot more. He's obviously talking about all these other crimes that he's been involved with, and they're not very far off from Donald Trump. I mean, wasn't he the chair, or was he one of the chairs of the inauguration committee, amongst many other things?
That 1MDB scandal is tied also directly to Ivanka Trump.
Good point.
So let's see what happens there.
So we are seeing people go down, and that's a good thing, Nina. I mean, we're starting to see some of that, but you think it won't go all the way to the very top. Do you think he'll somehow be able to inoculate himself, or how will he escape?
Well, I'm not going to say that it's not going to go to the very top. I think he's sick. I think he could literally fall over at one of these rallies. But I just don't think that this. I mean, we're talking about. It's not just this family. It's a lot of people who are benefiting from it, who have access to the levers of power that it's very hard to pry their hands off of. And how you're going to get Jones Day, this legion of lawyers that they've got out there, and the power of the DOJ and the now SCOTUS. How do you pry their hands out of that? Even if these individuals go down, all of these people have, I always say the Supreme Court justice choices really don't have as much to do with Roe and overturning Roe as they do with just maintaining power against the powerless. That's what they're told to do. That's what they're picking them for, not for Roe. They don't care. They probably need to keep that on the boil. It's just this, forced arbitration or making sure that BLM lands go where they want them to go. It's all stuff that's going on very quietly and nobody's paying attention to it. And those are the people who are behind Donald Trump and this regime. And they are witting and they're willing to go forward with it. That's my fear. I hope you're right, because I hope they can come crashing down. I hope they come crashing down individually, one by one. But this is a system. I mean, Greg, I don't know. What do you think? I throw that out.
I think you're both right. I think that, the COVID thing is so awful, and Kushner is absolutely responsible for it. I mean, if you read Catherine Eban's reporting at Vanity Fair, he's responsible. He said the states have to sort it out. It's not the job of the federal government to do this, because it's apparent he didn't get the memo that it's not 1840, right? And that's what Grover Cleveland said during the panic of whatever year that was. That's what Herbert Hoover said. And they were wrong. And FDR basically took that philosophy and threw it away forever. And Kushner, with his fancy fucking Harvard education that his father paid for, didn't learn this very basic fact. So he's in there saying the markets will fix it and this and that. Even his own friends are telling him, no, dude, we can't do it that way. The government has to do this. States are... They're outbidding each other for PPE, and he's like, no. And then when it was determined that people in New York and New Jersey and California were hit hardest, he said, "Oh, those are blue states. Well, we can blame the governors. It'll be good for us politically." That's all bad. He had a bunch of crimes before. He's involved with Khashoggi. He probably gave information to MBS that he shouldn't have given. He lobbied with the Qataris to do the blockade because he wanted them to give him money, which is fucking espionage, as far as I understand it.
That was a muscle. Yeah, that was a mob move.
That's not legal. If you take U.S. policy and try to do that for a personal loan, that's fucking treason. You can go to fucking the chair for that, as far as I understand it. So Kushner is fucked no matter what. And if he isn't, then the country is. My point is, you asked, there's going to be a line. There's some people are going to have to be sacrificed to get to where we need to be. Trump and everybody around him has to be sacrificed. Kushner's going to be sacrificed. Manafort's going to be sacrificed. Roger Stone, all of the people that we've known about for the last 4 years are going to fall.
Yeah.
Mark Burnett, I don't know. I don't know that he broke any laws. He's a big fucking asshole, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know that he violated laws. I hope that LB's smirk means that
it's the
that she knows
Kushners and
something
the
that I don't know.
Princes that I would be interested in seeing. Is will Kushner and Prince go down? I mean, Eric.
I think Prince has to go. I think Prince has to go down, but he's in UAE. He's not coming back, but he'll get indicted or whatever. And where we go as a country depends very much on how we choose to prosecute these crimes and how far we want the circle to expand. If we want to actually bring the country back to the people and make it a democracy again, we need to expand that circle and shut all this shit down. I don't think it's going to expand that widely. But if Kushner's in jail, I'll be happy about that. And if Kushner and Trump are both in jail, I mean, that's going to be really hard for Ivanka to run. But you're right. She'll try. And these dipshit Republicans will be like,
she's done.
Yeah.
She's
Who's going to vote for her?
LB, do you know anything, or you're just surmising? Is this a prediction that you're making because you've got information, or is it just a prediction you're making because it's possible? You don't have to answer that, of course.
I don't have to answer that, but I will say anyone who's followed me carefully for the last 4 years or so knows exactly why I came to Twitter and why this whole thing started, exactly what I witnessed, exactly what I was privy to, and who I know. And if you think I'm the kind of person who is going to let that bone go that I've got between my teeth, then you do not know me, and that's okay. But I don't lose focus,
right?
And I don't, I don't take the cards that I have for granted at all.
Speaking of MGM, which is what we really are talking about when we talk about Mark Burnett, is they have the tapes. And on Tuesday on the show, the little programming note, Tom Arnold's going to be here to talk about those tapes and where they are and why they have not surfaced yet. These are the Apprentice tapes. These are the tapes that contain a lot of stuff about Donald Trump that he does not want out there. I'm not sure he needs any more nails in his coffin right now or wants them, but he's going to probably get them when we hear about what Tom Arnold has in store. And he'll be here on Tuesday, which is great. I'm looking forward to that. But I don't want to leave the women because we have to get back to Melania. We have not discussed Melania. So why do we do that? I don't know why you're frozen in that shot there. Tell us about Melania.
Okay, well, one of the strange coincidences is that Melania also comes from a shoe factory town, like Ivanka.
It's all about the shoes. By the way, can I just take a moment? I've got to take a moment.
Yeah.
I just want to say this. You guys, this book is so much fun. I have to say this now, and then I want to get, but it's such a fun book. I loved it.
You lose yourself in it. It's very good to read.
I loved it so much. Okay, so go ahead.
Thank you for saying that. I wrote it in 40 days and 40 nights. I was procrastinating until the last minute. Yeah,
that's impressive.
Wow. And apparently that gave it a little beat that I don't know. Anyway, so she comes from a shoe factory town. Dad is as we know from Julia Yoffe early on. Dad is a convict of fraud. Is convicted of fraud. People in their town, in the little tiny town that I went to when I was researching her, thought that he might have spent some time in jail, but I could never nail that down. Sources in Ljubljana, high-level, prominent people who were helping me early on were shut down. People, they were threatened. Lawyers and other people threatened them. This was, right after the inauguration. So strange family, strange place. And then, so Melania is, as we know, supermodel. Well, she was very tall and very beautiful teenager, and she what seemed to be not particularly comfortable in front of the camera. You see that in the photographs. Even you see that kind of in the photographs of her now. She's not really comfortable with exposure, but it was at that time, it was 89, 90, these women beauties from that part of the world were commodified and commodifying themselves willingly. And she, thought that she could make a living at this. So she went off to Milan, supposedly. And then we have this lacuna in her history where she has basically erased herself from the record. There are very few photographs. I had a photo researcher dig up a few, but there's nothing. She was not on the catwalk. She was not a supermodel. She was maybe a catalog model during those years, and those pictures don't go into the digital age. And then they lie about when they met. Supposedly they met cute at this Victoria's Secret model celebration one night, and in 98. And my source was a photographer on the fake lesbian pictures, remembered her bragging about him, her being Donald Trump's girlfriend in 96 or 95.
Oh.
So how they met, I've been told certain things, but I can't nail it all down. So I'll just say that they definitely met before they say they met. And maybe it's because he was still with Marla that they don't want that to be known. And what else can I tell you about her? She doesn't speak 5 languages. I assume that isn't news to you.
Sorry, my microphone is off. Sorry, I was going to ask you.
I think Mary Jordan, the Washington Post reporter, confirmed a lot of the stuff that I had been finding, but went much deeper because she focused on her only for 3 years. And, she really is someone who has deliberately erased her past and is willing to create it to rewrite it with Donald. And that is one of the attributes of, again, these dictator families. I mean, they just dispense with the truth. And there's no reason for you to know anything about them other than the story that they're making up, that they're telling. So she's gone to great lengths to hide her real story. And I think that she wasn't someone who was terribly interested in world affairs. Let's just put it that way. As a young person, not somebody who was super curious. I think she just really wanted luxury and likes the sound of pearls and diamonds clacking against the marble in the bathroom.
Does she speak 6 languages?
And that's the person that she is. No, I said she doesn't speak 6. She doesn't speak Slovenian. And that she spent all of her time in the Slovenian family bubble. I mean, she brought her parents over, and Trump gave them an apartment. She lived downstairs with them most of the time, and that's why in the 2016 campaign, she could barely speak English because she'd spent all of that time during their marriage downstairs with the family. And Barron was speaking Slovenian as well. She lived in a Slovenian bubble, basically. And
she still lives with them. She's still, even though she's the first lady, she's still living with them in their house in the Potomac, which, I mean, that sounds really interesting that she has that kind of private time away from the White House, because we don't know what she's up to necessarily. And she does have a very good relationship with Putin. We've certainly seen them in public. They get along well with each other. And I'm sure that doesn't seem common for her to have that sort of ease that she has with Putin, as she does. So, I'm very suspicious of what she's up to when she's not at the White House, because, she does. If you were going to have a handler, that would be the handler. Hypothetically.
Yes, I think go on, go, Greg.
Oh, I was going to say, LB and I were talking about this or texting about this earlier today. Like, my idea about her is that she's just sort of exactly what she appears to be, which is, as you wrote in the book, shy. She doesn't like attention. She likes to have a small circle. She doesn't like to go out. She doesn't like to drink. She doesn't like to party. She likes to be taken care of. And that's basically it. When I, 4 years ago on my site, The Weaklings, one of the co-writers there wrote a piece analyzing all of the Instagram photos that she had taken and came to that conclusion that is in Nina's book, which is she's shy, she doesn't like to go out, she creates her own little world, she's in her own little bubble, and I don't know that it's anything deeper than that with her. I don't know that there's anything there. I think she's nice to Putin because Trump wants her to be, maybe. And can she even speak Russian? I don't know.
This is where I can, to me, she's a very dangerous player. She is a hanger, literal walking hanger for propaganda. Mm-hmm. She's going on when she did her speech at the RNC propaganda event at the White House, where we were also appalled that our house was used for that. She's mm-hmm. wearing her communist Stalinist, mm-hmm. Costume uniform, and so she's always projecting that imaging. It's like she's doing that for Putin. She's doing that for that troll. She's trolling us all the time. She's straight out of 4chan Fantasyland, with Putin's hand on it. They're laughing at us because of her. She speaks in this Slavic accent. We could barely speak in English. This is going to be so fucking embarrassing for every American, and they know it. As soon as the truth really, truly comes out, and we know it's coming about Donald and how owned he is and how long and how deep he's been in there with Kremlin back when it was the Soviet Union, and they never let their grip go on this motherfucker. And here's this Slavic woman who's standing up there basically saying moose and squirrel at us, right? And Americans are so fucking dumb that they don't, and if people who don't know what that reference is, that's a reference to the old Bullwinker cartoons of the Boris and Natasha, who were the Russian spies that nobody could figure out were Russian spies, right? And all she said was, oh, moose and squirrel, because of Rocky and Bullwinkle after them. That's what she is. It's a joke. They're trolling us with this woman. And it's disgusting, and it's appalling, and it's embarrassing, and America is going to be really embarrassed because of her, and she knows it, and she revels in cruelty, and she bitches and moans on those Stephanie tapes or Wolkoff tapes that came out, right? We hear who she really is. We knew she was a birther, and now we can hear that she's saying things like fucking Christmas and fucking people. She is an elitist of the elitist. She looks down on all Americans while she's dressing herself to please Vladimir Putin. Fuck her. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not saying not fuck her. I'm saying the two things can be, they can be the same. I don't know. I don't think she's that smart. I don't think she's that.
I don't think she's that smart either, and I'm with you on that, Greg. But I see what you're saying. I think she's black-hearted. The way that she stepped on people to get where she wanted to be.
That's right.
But I think single-minded devotion to get into just to have luxury around you and to have, I don't think that it's anything beyond that. I mean, but I do think, again, these wives, in theory, somebody could be calling her up and saying, where is the nuclear briefcase? Or how does he feel today?
Right.
Once you're a KGB agent, you're always a KGB agent, right? I mean, you don't get to leave.
Dangerous. This is very dangerous. This is not just, she's pretty, she looks nice, and she's dumb, and it doesn't matter because she's vapid, and she's just going to find out that she can't walk away with as much money as she wants, although that's one of the roles that Mark Burnett, to come back to him, has played in this whole thing for her. But it's dangerous to have this kind of propaganda going on. It's dangerous to have somebody like this with their hooks into this man's daily fucking life. This is our first lady. Mm-hmm. Holy shit, everybody.
And to remind everyone, there is a Jeffrey Epstein connection here, too, because he claimed to introduce them.
That's right. Don Grinnell.
Yeah.
So, there's...
And it's possible.
It's very, very possible.
Because that's murky. How they met is murky.
I can't imagine Putin would have let this guy go, the KGB or the FSB, whoever would have let Donald Trump just let loose to go find his own freelance wife or girlfriend. They would have sent him someone to stay close to him. I mean, why would they not? And she does appear to have come from that part of the world. Now there's this moment from I think it was their DNC thing where Ivanka walks past, and I guess she must have said something to Melania that was not very nice, because that look is it's not very friendly. What's their relationship like? Do you have a sense of what their relationship is like?
Yeah, they're in competition with each other for his respect and attention. His attention, really, because they're never going to get his respect. They're in competition for his attention.
Right.
And I think that when she wore the "I don't care, do you" jacket, I think it was direct. She plays to a small stage. I don't think she's on the world stage. She plays to the small group of people. I think she was directing it at Ivanka. I mean, they do. It's satire almost. I mean, they argue over who got to go to Africa first, or who would get to hold the black baby in the photo op, and they're just she's got his attention more than Ivanka, but he pays attention to Ivanka, and he respects Ivanka probably more than he respects her in some way. So I think there's a stepmother, stepdaughter competition.
Mm-hmm. So interesting.
Well, he needs
Friction.
Melania now. He doesn't.
They don't get
really,
along.
Yeah, for his imaging as president, for this role that he's playing, this thing he's producing of himself as president, he needs Melania. He doesn't need Ivanka for that. Maybe
that's true. He absolutely does need her. That is the bottom line on Melania. Yeah. On the bottom line is that she, with young women marrying these old coots. In the beginning, the man holds all the power, but by the end, the women are running the show, and he needs her. She can't walk away. So she has.
It's always
the
third wife.
It's so interesting. Any other thoughts for anyone running out of time?
Watch out for the third wife with these guys.
I just want to say I'm looking forward to part 2 of this episode when we just talk about what most of the book was about, which is Tiffany. So that'll be good.
Yes, I'll be back for that.
Did anyone online have any questions? Was anyone asking about?
I was looking. They're mostly commenting. Okay. There is a question that is an interesting one because it has been floated by people who had interaction with the family and by Melania. And I don't know if you came across any of this, Nina, but that Melania as well has a substance abuse problem. So there's someone, did you ever get anything around any of that? Well,
I mean, there is, we dug up, one of the photo researcher dug up a picture of her in full heroin chic, in the full heroin chic look with dark circles under her eyes, dragging down somewhere, I guess in Europe.
For a photo shoot?
It was they were. Yeah, I mean, I could send you. I've posted the picture actually on my Twitter feed before. I'll put it back up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, you do hear things like that. The rumors. Noel Kassler has gone on the record about it. Claiming that Ivanka called her the junkie wife or something. Yeah, and I think it's. I heard
always, that from someone else as well.
Yeah, I mean, the rumors. Those are rumors, but I haven't verified them, and I wouldn't say that they're true because I have no way of knowing. But there are. You hear those things, yeah.
What about her kidney surgery?
That's interesting.
What was that?
The kidney surgery.
I have a theory on that. Maybe she did have a problem.
I don't know. I mean, you read them. I have to go. Mary Jordan's book. She did. She spent 3 years on her, and I was out of it by 2018. I wasn't digging in there anymore. I mean, the disappearance supposedly had to do with a kidney surgery that went badly, or that should have been a 3-day operation, but was much more serious.
Okay.
That's what they've said. You also heard that she had, her mother was sick and that she had to put in time with her mother. Who knows? I don't know.
24 days that she was gone for, right? Or something like that. It's a good chunk of time. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Nina. What a great hour and a bit.
Yeah.
This is the book, The Trump Women, Part of the Deal. It's really, really a fun read, and I haven't got all the way through it, I must confess, but it's really, really fantastic, and it just puts you in a whole new world, and it's definitely worth picking up. And it's available anywhere you get your books online, and there's a Kindle edition as well, and is there an audiobook? I'm not sure if there is. Yeah, there is. Okay, awesome. So pick that up, and we'll be back on Tuesday with Tom Arnold, which will be fun. Until then, have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Good night, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. On Narrative Live, well, we have partnered with AdvertiseCast to handle our advertising and sponsorship requests. They're great to work with, and they'll help you advertise on our show. Please email sales@advertisecast.com or visit our show notes page. You'll find that in your podcast player where we describe what's on this week's show.